I'd like to call this meeting of the Coventry Town Council to order at 6:05 PM. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Here.
Vice President Verducci,
Here.
President Lima.
Here. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Those present this evening, in the event of an emergency, can exit outdoors labeled number 1 or 2 in the back of council chambers to the front lawn or back parking lot of Town Hall. Moving to meeting minutes from prior meetings, we have a few sets this evening. We have open session minutes of April 22nd, and April 29th, May 3rd and May 6th, and June 18th. Do I hear a motion to take the minutes as a block?
I'll make a motion. Take the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Open. Motion by Vice President Verducci, second by Councilwoman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. Motion passes.
And a motion to approve the block of minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Vice President Verducci, second by Councilwoman Capaldi. Discussion. I have a couple of notes on these. Page 12 of our packet, line 226, it should be Mr. Larson, not Lawson. Page 14 of our minutes of our packet, line 292. Motion was made by Councilor Capaldi to ratify. And then after the April 22nd meeting minutes, we stopped putting line numbers in minutes. If we can put those back for reference, that would be great. I hope in the final version, those are included. April 22nd minutes, page 22 of our packets. Can't tell you the line. Second to last graph. She asked how many there are in the rationale in the proposed budget for this, not your. Page 24 without second paragraph is one word. Fourth paragraph, new registrar doesn't need to be capitalized. Page 25 of the packet, second line, first paragraph, in addition, are the social workers licensed. Last paragraph before public hearing on proposed budget, superintendent is spelled wrong. Page 26, last paragraph, Roy Sassy, S-A-S-S-E, not S-E-S-S-Y. May 3rd minutes, no line numbers again. May 6th, no line numbers. Page 39 of our packet, last paragraph before a motion was made by Councilmember Pasqua. If this is the case, then it's the wrong form. It should be T-H-E-N. June 18th minutes, no line numbers. And that's all I had for open session minutes. Did anyone else share any corrections? I just asked those be accepted as friendly. If there's no further discussion, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. Motion passes.
Members of the council, I haven't had a chance to even read these minutes yet, and these are pretty significant. So would I be able to entertain any motion to continue these minutes to our next council meeting in August?
I think that makes sense. I'll make a motion.
Motion by Vice President Verducci,
A second.
second by Councilwoman Capaldi. Any discussion? This is to continue the March 25th, April 8th, and April 22nd executive session minutes to our next council meeting in August. If there's no further discussion, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
We'll now move to public comment on docketed items only. Those items on our agenda this evening, please come forward to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Make sure the green light is on.
Hi, Brittany Boyer, 318 Town Farm Road. I just had two things I wanted to touch on tonight. The first one had to do with public access signage. If you guys remember, I don't have the exact date, but back in March, one of the first times I spoke about it, I had offered for my farm to make a donation and purchase signs for public access areas to the pond. President Lima, you were very grateful and you said that is something that I believe the redevelopment agency is what it's called, would be something that they were responsible for. We did bring that up at the last, on Zoom, at the last meeting that they had. They said that that is not their responsibility to take that up with the town. So I reached out to the only kind of department I could really think of would maybe be DPW. I'm assuming they're the ones who put signs up. That I don't really know, but I did reach out to them and they said that they had no authority, knowledge, or anything about that. So I'm kind of just back at the beginning of my circle. And again, I only ask because there's still a lot of confusion about where those points are. I know a lot of people say them by name. I don't know a lot of them by name. I know that I did check out the one behind, it's called like the one behind Town Hall. And I had a little bit of trouble finding it. I did have somebody kind of tell me, navigate me where to go. They had me drive over the bike path that you can't see people coming or going both ways and park down at where I'm assuming that's the gatehouse. I don't even know. Park there, and then you can walk down to that beach access. When you do that, there are still all signs there that say no trespassing, Quidnick Reservoir Company, maybe it was called. So that was a little confusing. I wasn't sure if I could go, if I couldn't go, but I'm assuming because that's not a company anymore that we could. So we walked down to that beach area and checked it out for the first time. But another real concerning portion was that you can walk right down over the dam. There's no fencing blocking it. There's no anything. People were walking across the top of it to get to the other side. I'm concerned, obviously, for safety of people. I'm concerned for people driving over the bike path to get to that parking area because of how the bushes grow. Even if they were maintained, just because of where you have to go, it just didn't seem like a very safe option. So again, I'm looking to see if I could just be pointed in the right direction of the signage, or if we could maybe just get some safer options as far as where people can park, and just so they know where to go.
Yeah. Dan, if you want to speak to that.
So I'm not sure when you were there, Brittany, but I know this week.
Last weekend.
We're finishing up the fence this week to block off access to the the bridge.
Okay.
So that should be coming up. Where they told you to park is not the right area.
Okay.
You should be parking on the side.
It was animal control who told me where to park, to
And-
park there.
Should be parking on the side and walking down right directly behind DPW. There's a path with a picnic table and some.
Parking is back
receptacles.
behind here, or,
Parking is on the side. Not, you can park here or you can park on the side of the entrance to the bike path.
okay.
And you can walk from there. Yeah, we don't want people crossing over the bike path. Someone's going to get killed.
Exactly. And like I said, I didn't know. There was
Yeah.
nothing telling anyone that. And I assumed when I saw somebody in animal control that it was a
Yeah.
solid answer.
And DPW and Recreation are working on the signs for I believe RDA and GZA identified 3 locations back here. I think Zeke's Bridge and one other location.
Okay.
So we are working on signs for those 3 locations identified by GZA through the RDA.
Okay. So they are taking care of that.
Yes.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. Wonderful. Just because, like I said, in that meeting, they said that it was not on there.
Yeah, no, we're taking care of it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And then secondly, tonight, I just wanted to touch base back on June 24th. I raised some concerns regarding the finance department's request to write off $205,873.41 in owed taxes. Like I told you last time, I understand many of these accounts likely involve individuals who have moved, who have passed away, businesses that have dissolved. However, when I looked at that the first time, after reviewing just the first couple pages, I identified multiple businesses that were still actively operating within our town at that time. To verify that they were still owned by the same entity and the same business, I cross-referenced the tax ID numbers listed on the Secretary of State's website and confirmed that they were the same entity, owned by the same individuals, and still in business and operating under the same registration during the years in which the taxes were owed. So there's really no, if you have the same tax ID in that year and this year, they're at the same address with the same phone number, you're the same business. The tax collector was unable to attend that meeting, but Mr. Savetti noted that both the tax collector and legal had already reviewed that list. But as a result, the council,
Just tax collector, legal hadn't reviewed that.
if you review the video, Mr. Savetti says that legal reviewed it. I rewatched the recording. The word was legal. That's why I use legal.
So we have the tax collector and Mr. Savetti here tonight. Did you want to address the process?
Can I just finish this super
Yeah.
quick and then they can jump up? So the tax collector was unable to attend that meeting, but Mr. Savetti noted that it had already been reviewed. As a result, the council wanted to table so that it could get looked back into. The next day, I received an email from Dan stating she, quote, she went through it and found 2 so far. And I took that to mean that the tax collector also confirmed that at least 2 of the businesses listed in that write-off proposal were still actively operating in the town. Despite that, tonight's agenda still reflects the same total, $205,873.41, with no changes or indication that those businesses are.
So just process wise, I don't know what we're going to be told by these 2 folks this evening,
Sure.
but when you continue a matter, you can't then put a brand new resolution in. You'd have to amend that. When you carry something over, you can't just slap a new resolution in its place because you carried that particular item over. So
Okay.
I understand your point, but for transparency reasons,
sure.
that's the way it has to go.
Yep, then that's totally fine. I guess what my clarification that I was looking for tonight is that hoping all 22 pages of those have been looked into. I don't know how, if it already went through the tax collector and any kind of legal or whoever it went through, how then I was able to find what I found and then 2 were also found per Dan. So that's my concern. And I'm hoping that, I don't want to set this as a precedent, that we just have to leave this long enough and they don't have to be collected. I understand it's not that entire amount that we're looking at. It's probably a small amount, but taxpayer money isn't disposable. And I just think it's important to make sure that we're going through these things
Yeah,
as thorough as we can. Thank you.
appreciate it. Bob, Monique, I don't know if you want to come up and just address that while it's fresh. Well, to answer her question. Okay, anyone else public comment on docketed items only? I'm just gonna see if anyone else has public comment. Public comment on Zoom, please raise your hand to be let in. All right, Monique and Bob, if you want to just address the questions that she had.
Okay, so I went through the tangible list. I did not find her 7. I looked at 2 that I thought might be possible collections. I thought I might have seen Black Heart Tattoo around town. So I said, let me pull those off, look around.
Monique, maybe it might help if you explain your process, so maybe we can understand why Ms. Boyer probably thought something might have been needed to be included or versus not. So we can, so that way we can understand each other.
Okay, so we get the list of tangibles that are old. And we'll go on the Secretary of State website. We'll go on Google. We'll try Facebook. We basically search for whatever we can find. On Secretary of website, we'll find certificates that have been revoked. If we do find a business that's in another town, we will send notices there. We also send our outstanding tangibles to MCA to see if they can find them. Like I stated, when I went through the list again, I said, Black Heart Tattoo, that sounds familiar. Maybe she's right about that one. Let me put that one back and just see if we try to collect that one. Well, I went to where I thought it reopened because it did close. And that was actually Ghost Guild Tattoo. Then I Googled all tattoo companies in Coventry just to see if it would come up. And there was Way Back Collective, Forbidden Flesh, and Acme Inc. So one of them It's not. I thought it was, but it's not, so that should stay on. Then the other one was Wayside. They no longer have a license, and that's per the Secretary of State website. But when we Googled them, we found that they could be in Situate. So we have sent notices to Situate. We're not getting anywhere with that. So I don't believe they're around either, or we're not going to collect it. It's not going to happen. I stand by my list. If she can give me the 7 she found, I'd like to know how she found it. There are 3 people in my department. We looked. We don't write things off idly. You know my collection rate. I don't give up until it gets to a point where it's wasting too much town money and town resources to look for something we're not going to get the money.
Anything to add, Bob?
And I think, after that meeting, I believe an email was sent to Ms. Boyer requesting that she provide her 7 items, and we didn't hear anything back. So Monique spent the time with, as she said, in her department going through those. And as I mentioned before, MCA, who's the collection agency, when I mentioned legal, they've tried to track these down. So these are all items that are, old, out of business. People have passed away, 10+ years. And we're just looking to clear up the receivable report. And again, that's an important thing, because when we're looking at budgeting the next fiscal year and we're looking at collections, and somebody looks and says, well, you have outstanding taxes of 800,000, why are you only budgeting to collect 100,000 or 200,000? Well, because 600,000 is, uncollectible. So we're just, over the past couple of years, since we came here and working together, we're trying to stay up on the tax roll and trying to make sure we have a valid receivable.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
So these people that don't pay their taxes, they're wherever they go, if they come back to try to open another business here,
If you allow them to, if we had a licensing program where they had to be clean, I'd be able to look them up and say, hey, wait a minute. You already booked it. You already owed us taxes, but we don't have a licensing program for businesses. We've asked, but
what is a licensing program to look at?
There's no, again, there's right now in Coventry, there's no renewal process for licenses. So once you award somebody a license, they have a license, do business, there's no follow-up. If you go to many other communities in the state, there's an annual renewal. And at that time, when the list comes before the council to renew licenses, you can question, well, is everybody paid up on their taxes? If they are, you renew their license. There's obviously fees associated. If they're not up to date, then you deny their license and they can't operate in the business in the town legally until all their taxes are paid. Right now, we really have no mechanism to go after these taxes. The town does participate in the state program. If there's delinquent taxes where they'll withhold from, people's refunds on their income tax returns. So we do everything possible to try to collect. But again, tangible is very difficult. Motor vehicles always been very difficult if you're not re-registering that vehicle.
So my question is, you guys said you tried to get this implemented? And what was the reason why not?
I couldn't tell you because no proposal for this program has ever come before me in my 4 years on the council. So,
previous councils.
Can we,
yeah, just
and
to
it was-
clarify.
Yeah, previous councils, and the basic thing was that's not business friendly.
oh. Is this something we can look into with this council here?
Expensive it is, but also because we're now in a new budget year, I don't know if other software that we have licenses for can accommodate something like this. So I don't know. We'd have to look into it. Yeah, if Monique and Bob want to go to Dan and say this is what we need and put a proposal in front of the council, then we're happy to consider it.
I think that'd be great, yeah.
That's a lift that has to come from staff of what they want.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Just going back to the explanation of this, I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Is the debt forgiven, or is it just we're getting a number to put in that line item? For instance, let's say under Councilwoman Capaldi's, they come back here and they say, look, I messed up. I want to do business again, but I owe some taxes. Is this forgiven by this action, or is it just booking it as a non-receivable? Or
two things, right? So we're not looking to abate the taxes. So if we were looking to abate the taxes, the abatement would be because there was an error, you know, in the valuation, the assessment, something on the town side. We're looking from a financial statement standpoint to write off the receivable, but certainly there's notes, whenever this is done, right? This was done a year ago, or 2 years ago when we did the same thing. We do put notes in the system so that if the person does come back and we're recording their taxes, we see that note and we can say, hey, by the way, you still owe this tax, and we can't collect it at that point. It is getting written off, but there are notations put, write this off, and this way, if they do come back, have the ability to try to.
Gotcha. Do they remain on that list of MCA has to continue to try, or?
I don't remove them from the MCA.
Okay.
Stay with the collection.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. I think that's important to make the distinction. We're not giving it away or abating it. So that's a good way to put it. Okay. Thank you.
You know, there's so many small businesses here that pay their taxes. And yeah, I think we should look into this, and yeah. I don't know what it entails, so I'm just like, yeah, here's a magic wand, let's do it, but I understand. Thanks.
Thank you. Last call, public comment, docketed items only. Last call. All right, public comment is closed. At this time, I'll seek a motion to, well, I'll say this. Under licenses, that applicant has withdrawn their application for this evening, so we won't have any licenses this evening. We have a lot of guests here this evening, so I want to make sure we move people along. So I will seek a motion to take the agenda out of order at this time.
Make a motion to take the agenda out of order.
Second.
By Vice President Verducci, second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Next item, we're gonna move to the council president communications. So, based on the resolution last August to form the Municipal Fire Commission, the deliverable due date from that commission on its findings of its work was supposed to be this meeting. However, the report still isn't complete. There's a couple more deliverables that need to be incorporated in there, so just wanted to give an update to the council and to the public that that is pushed to next month. And then with that, we will move to executive or closed session. So we've got a couple items this evening. Closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law, Section 42-46-5A2, discussion regarding acting Chief Witt's contract. Pursuant to Rhode Island General Law, Section 42-46-5A2 for litigation matters, Resource Holdings LLC v. Town of Coventry. Executive or closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law, Section 42-46-5A2 for litigation matters, re Nicholas E. Cambio, trustee, and others. And closed session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law, Section 42-46-5A2 for litigation matters, for a discussion of prospective/potential litigation to be initiated against the town. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Capaldi, second by Vice President Verducci. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
3 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Thank you. Jackson. At this time, I'll seek a motion to come out of executive session. Motion by Councilman Pasqua,
Second.
second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yeah.
Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Could I have a motion to seal the minutes of executive session?
Make a motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilwoman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua. Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Members of the public, the council met in executive session to discuss the 4 items on our docket. A discussion was had, 1 vote was taken. Madam Clerk, could you please read off the vote?
A motion was made by Councilmember Pasqua to appoint and ratify the contracts for special counsel regarding Social Holdings LLC et al. Versus Town of Coventry et al. Case 1:25 CV 00274, including Moses Ryan LTD, individually representing Councilmember Kimberly Shockley, Moses Ryan LTD, individually representing Council President Hillary Lima, Moses Ryan LTD, individually representing Councilmember James LeBlanc, Moses Ryan LTD, individually representing Councilmember Elisa Capaldi, Moses Ryan LTD, individually representing Councilmember Jennifer Ludwig, Moses Ryan LTD, individually representing Town Manager Dan Perillo, Moses Ryan LTD, representing the Town of Coventry and the Town Council of the Town of Coventry, Adler, Pollock, and Sheehan, PC, individually representing Councilmember Jonathan Pasqua, Adler, Pollock, and Sheehan, PC, representing the Town of Coventry and the Town Council of the Town of Coventry, DeSisto Law, representing the Town of Coventry and the Town Council of the Town of Coventry, Radcliffe, Harton, Galamaga, LLP, individually representing Town of Coventry, Town Solicitor Angel. The motion was seconded by Vice President Verducci. The vote was 4-0 in the affirmative. The motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Moving forward with our agenda, we are out of order. We're going to kind of work our way back up. Introduction of new matters before the council. We have a first reading of an ordinance on this evening, 2025-19, amendment to the Town of Coventry Code of Ordinances, Part 2, General Legislation 2005 by adding sections to Chapter 255, zoning, Article 5, zoning districts and zoning maps, Section 255-40, Plan District Coventry Center, and Section 255-540.1, Establishment of Coventry Center Plan District. This is just first reading this evening as advertised. No discussion this evening. We'll now move to council business matters carried over. We've got a couple items this evening. First one is Resolution 2025-73, authorizing the write-off of delinquent/uncollectible motor vehicle and tangibles taxes from 2009 to 2023 in the amount of $205,873.41. I'll invite up the Ms. Hool and Mr. Savetti. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to add from before the public comment before.
You know, at this point, again, I think we answered the questions that were previously asked. If there's anything else we can clarify, we'd be happy to do so. Again, based on the resources in the tax collector's office, as well as the attorney's office that handles the collections for the town, we feel like every step has been taken to try to collect from these taxpayers that are listed there. Have that written off.
And what you said previously is the way that other municipalities can better keep up and manage this and hold people accountable is if there's a system of annual renewal for licenses where if you see in your system they owe you, you just don't give them the license till they're current.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we can certainly, we'll get together with the town manager, try to put something together, recommendations. They can be a nominal fee, but obviously there's a cost. We're trying to track every business down and getting the renewal licenses out there and processes. Some communities require every business owner to come in and fill out the paperwork. Other ones just send out the application and you send your check back in. So different ways we can proceed, and, we can certainly look at other communities to see what the range and the fees that they charge for the different businesses.
And does every community renew every year? Like, I know this, we're getting a little off topic, so we don't go too far down that rabbit hole,
I'd
but
say I know every community does, but I know some of the different communities I've worked with in the past, they do have the process where it's even a renewal for, like an operating at home, so a phone calls only type of business. There's my license in Johnson, I'm home office, and it's $100 annual.
mm,
So every business does get charged that annual.
okay. Any discussion from members of the council? Yes, Councilman Capaldi. Sure. Just put your mic on though for me.
Ms. Boyer, I have a question. With the information that you thought that you did find, did you want to submit what you found to see? Or I just want to give you that fair shot of, oh,
Yeah.
So the reason that I didn't was because when I got the email from Dan, I was working. I didn't want to stop seeing, patients in the office to continue this. I only went through the first couple pages of it. Respectfully, I'm not going to go through 22 pages of it. So I'm happy to send over what I have found. That's fine. What I will also say is specifically the tattoo one, you can change your DBA and your tax ID is still the same. So it is. So when you change your DBA, your tax ID can still be the same. You can also pull a tax sales permit and not allow them to have any sales. So there are steps you can take. It is easier to just write it off, but that's fine. I'll send over the ones that I have and they can go from there.
I think that, would you guys take a look at what she has? Because I think you requested that or asked her if she wanted to send that stuff over.
Yeah, we could.
Just to-
We could certainly look at it. I don't know where on the Secretary of State's website she's seeing a federal ID number that's not shown on the Secretary of State's website, to the best of my knowledge. And that's the identification of an entity, not an ID that the state may provide you.
It's on
They're
the
two different
Secretary of State's
numbers.
homepage. It's a tax ID number and you can pull down the DBA as well.
So basically, we have a business, Coventry Paint. They are an LLC in and of itself. They owe a lot of money to Coventry. They got rid of that business. They went bankrupt. They were done. They reopened in Cranston as Cranston Paint LLC. They have that same state number, but I cannot go after Cranston for Coventry. They're two separate businesses that have the same owner, but we can't do anything. That state number doesn't mean anything. It's not the same
It's a
federal ID
federal
number.
ID.
No, yes.
Okay.
If you wanted to send them, okay.
All right.
We get the list, we'll certainly look at the 7 items. We're not asking to go through 20, we're not asking to go through 20 pages. She said she had 7 items, so.
Just come up to the mic, please.
When Dan emailed me and said that she had already found 2, what are we doing with those 2?
I think she spoke of them, the
Okay.
Black Heart and something else. Yeah, that she did.
Okay,
They weren't around. Yeah.
sure. Okay. That's fine. Thank you.
All right. What's the pleasure of the council with this resolution?
I mean, for me personally, I think given the fact that we're not forgiving the debt and it's still being asked for, it looks like we did a lot of diligence on the list. I'm certainly open to new things. I definitely want to look into the licensing idea. I think that's something we should roll in. You know, at this point, we need a number to book to finish the accounting process. You know, so
It's not saying we can't go after these people still. Councilman Pasqua.
Same page with you on that. You know, we're not saying that we will never collect or can't collect on this. It's just we're trying to get this leveled so you can finish your year's books. That's correct?
Yeah, again, we're trying to get a number that's a representative of the true receivable that we think's collectible on the books. So we are looking to write it off, so it would get written off, but there are notations that are put into the tax system, so if the taxpayer does come forward, we have a notation in there that we can collect. And again, I'm present earlier, but we did make notation that this still stays with the attorney's office, so they still try to collect it. You know, we're not dropping off their list. They still have the list and they try to pursue every avenue to collect it.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the resolution by Councilman Pasqua. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
yes,
President Lima,
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Moving to item B, under business matters carried over, we have requests from owners of Westwood Estates, AP 43 Lot 35 and AP 35 Lot 32.001 for an amendment to zoning ordinance and map to permanent expansion of the number of mobile home sites in the park. I discussed this one with the solicitor prior to the meeting because it's worded very confusing. And it's the solicitor's recommendation that this needs to get a first reading because it's an amendment to the Code of Ordinances, not an amendment to zoning ordinance. So the recommendation from legal is that this, again, regrettably has to be continued again. So that way we're docketing it and it's legally going through the right process, because if we don't follow it, I fear that we're leaving ourselves open to potential litigation if something goes awry with this later. So it's obviously the pleasure of the council, but, and Solicitor Angel, feel free to chime in if I didn't represent that. So, what's the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to continue to the August 26th town council meeting.
We have a motion,
Second.
second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
yes,
President Lima,
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Item C, appointment of special counsel, Ray Social Holdings LLC and others, v. Town of Coventry and others. Federal case number 1:25-CV-00274. Solicitor Angel, how am I supposed to handle this one?
You announced the vote of what happened in executive session. The council has been hired, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to do.
Okay,
Pass the item.
all right. Yep, we already voted on this with executive session. Okay. That concludes business matters carried over. We did council president communications. We'll do resolution M because Maria, that's the only one you're here for, 2025-87, authorizing the town manager to sign amendment number 2 with Fuss and O'Neill for the Coventry High School Sewer Connection Project. This is pages 171 to 178 in our packets. Do I hear a motion to approve the resolution?
Make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua,
Second.
second by Councilman Capaldi. Discussion. Ms. Broadbent.
Good evening, Maria Broadbent, Assistant Town Manager. So I think this is the last thing I'm going to bring forward for your approval that associated with the high school sewer project, I think. We've gone through all of the hurdles. We got the question for the last permitting question the other day, and they wanted to make sure that we were not going to be doing any work where the bats would be pupping. So we've made it through all of those hurdles. What this is just to make sure that we have someone who is in the field keeping track of, most of this contract is largely a time and materials contract. Because it's such a big project, even one rock in the wrong place under a line 20 years down the road could cause the line to rupture. So this is a contract for someone to be in the field as our representative to make sure that we're being billed for what we should be billed. And if there's anything that requires any engineering oversight, that they would be able to make that change. One engineer can't go and change plans made by another engineer. So this keeps Fuss and O'Neill on through the finished construction of the project.
Councilman Pasqua.
Does having this person part of this allow us, if there is a miss somewhere, and there's a problem 20 years from now, town have recourse against this person's insurance because of it?
No. No, you wouldn't have that one way or the other. Because anything that happened 20 years from now, if you had something documented,
I guess
if you have someone in the field who's paying attention to what should be happening, they're going to keep something like that from happening. If something happens that has nothing to do with the things that they had in documentation, I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, I guess my point is, if we're hiring them to just make sure that, things are getting done correctly and to the standard that they're supposed to be done to, my thinking was just, besides hoping they do a good job, do we have any actual monetary, actual use to be able to recoup anything if something's missed? I'm thinking like a home inspector. You buy a home, they miss something, you have a claim on their insurance.
We have lots of bonds and insurance. So we have performance bonds, we have construction bonds, we have all of their insurances. A couple of the days it'll actually probably be our staff that's out in the field. This line item came in much higher originally than what's in front of you, but we wanted to make sure that our contingency for the construction itself stayed as close to 10% as we could. So Dan and I did a lot of discussion with the folks from Fuss and O'Neill to bring this number down so that we stayed within the budget that we were all predicting. So I wish I could foresee what would happen underground 20 years from now, but this gets us as close as we can.
And just to confirm for the public, this isn't extra cash coming from, so it's coming right out of the bond.
That's right.
Bond, yep. Is there any further discussion on Resolution 2025-87? With that, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua?
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi?
Yes.
Vice President Verducci?
Yes.
President Lima?
Yes,
Four in the affirmative, zero in the negative, motion passes.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to the other resolutions. They're all with DPW. Kevin, if you want to come up. We'll take the first one, and then the others, I think we can consider as a larger discussion together. Item A, we've got 2025-75, awarding an asset management software program for Department of Public Works. This is pages 83 to 153 in your packet. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua.
Second.
Second by Vice President Verducci. Discussion. Manager Perillo, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this was budgeted for in this year's budget through CIP to get it started. I'll turn it over to Mr. McGee to introduce and discuss.
Good evening. This resolution before you came in under the budgeted amount that we had in the capital budget. This company, after going out to bid and getting 7 bidders, we went through a matrix qualifying all the bids, and the company before you is a company that has the best product for the town and will provide, as it says here, asset management for facilities, fleet, stormwater, public works, roadways, sidewalks, and citizens' request. So there will be an 311 system set up so that residents can call in or email to us You know, if it's a pothole, they can bring a picture and we can have it in the system and we'll respond to them, get it taken care of. So we have knowledge of it. And we'll have a knowledge of what's going on so that we go through budgeting process. We know what the costs are and what's being affected by each item of the Public Works Department, which we haven't had in the past.
Discussion from the council on this one? You have questions? Go ahead.
So it looks like the first year we've got funded in CIP. Do we want to continue to, it looks like it's about 20K a year to keep going. Is that something we want to consider putting in CIP each year
We'll put it in the operating budget at that
in the
point.
operating?
We had the discussion with that if we were going to fund this in CIP this year, that we need to commit
Okay.
to it for the other years operationally.
And then just looking, through it, it does seem to have all the specs, we were looking for. I think this is huge. How many, can you even quantify how many calls you might be getting that you would want to this may take away, just trying to, staff time wise, is it 100 a day? Is it?
We average anywhere from 75 to 100 calls a day on a range of things. So this would be able to get the items directly to a foreman to get action on it rather than going through the girls in the office. This could actually go right to one access to a crew.
'Cause what's the process now? You're writing it down?
Everything is, yeah, as everybody's was telling, we're pad and paper. We have a whiteboard for projects and people are giving us a slip of paper when a crew's being sent out for something. We're very old school, trying to get up in the 20th century with everybody else is in the 20th.
Did you work with planning? I'm just looking at some of the specs. So we've got up to 5 hours of GIS integration. Are we going to have anything we can upload to this?
Oh, yeah.
To get everything started, the layers and all that.
They're going to stay with us for the entire project, getting it integrated. And then that's why I chose this company, because of what they're providing to us to get the system up. They'll be one of the first ones in New England with them. And they're putting all their eggs in with us to try to get a foothold in the area.
And we got the technical know-how in-house, you think, to
I just
kind of
wanna
roll?
ask about what's the training
Yeah.
staff on this?
Well, again, that's part of what they're providing to us is the training for each of the modules. And we'll integrate each module one at a time rather than just do everything at once and everybody be overwhelmed by it. We have staff that we have, one of the secretaries that we have now will actually get trained on portion of it. So she'll be the one in charge of one portion of the modules and the rest of it will be all the different tasks will be associated with people throughout the office.
All right, it might be useful to get, some kind of policy, at least as you're working on this, to make sure everybody's treated, prioritized by, maybe category of, life safety versus, something that can.
Just like we do now. So yeah, if it's a safety issue, we handle that faster than we would for something that was, I got a tree branch that might be brushing the car pothole. So that's.
And then for the council, for our purposes, I think it would be nice, either quarterly or, semi-annually, whatever, to maybe get some KPIs, some performance indicators with this, just to keep track of the level of these. And then we can use that maybe to help guide budgeting or, other issues. If we're seeing constant hotspots of X, Y, Z, it's a good tool to.
As Kevin said, now it helps him better budget more.
Yeah.
This system right here will be able to integrate our pavement management system that we have right now. This will be integrated to that along with our fuel management system. So this will all be integrated with what we already have. So trying to get all that together and make a better decisions to tell you folks when, hey, listen, we're spending $25,000 a year on this one vehicle to keep it running, where I can get one for lease for $15,000.
Right.
It's time that we make that change. So that's how I can justify that.
Yeah,
What's-
I
What's
think
the
we can
timeline to
do
get
it.
this off the ground, and what does it look like for the public so they know? Is it going to be a hyperlinked out web page? Is it something mobile, or what is it?
You folks are going to say yes first before we get into the detail. I haven't gone into that detail yet, but we'll start it right away. The company has been calling me on a regular basis, and I told them it was before the council tonight. And once that's happened, we'll get the
I don't know
ball
if they
rolling.
showed you any demo of
Oh, yes.
So what does it look like in that respect? Are other municipalities, is it hosted on the website, the town website, or
Yeah, we would have it on the website, and it's also going to be cloud-based, so.
any other discussion for Kevin, this one? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima. 4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
So the resolutions B through L, sorry, B through K. Kevin, I believe these are your annual tracks for a variety of services. I'm seeing winter sand, emergency equipment rental, earth materials, pipe castings and erosion control, pest control, heat, ventilation, and air conditioning services, electrical services, old asphalt patch services, hot asphalt patch services. So I don't know if you want to just run through these for the council.
Yeah, you've pretty much explained it. We actually do it on a biannual basis. These are most of these are 2-year programs, with the exception of the pipe and castings, because the volatility of the market, they can't hold prices for more than 1 year, so that's why we only bid that on an annual basis. Yeah, each one of these products and these services that we have is something we've been doing for the years. We have a couple of other services that are off year for this, that the cemetery maintenance won't be coming up until next year, so we try to alternate them a little bit. These are all the small, minor things that we do on a daily basis. You know, if we need to go get a ton of asphalt, this is the company that we would go with. If we need to have an electrical issue, we call the electrician for this to get a quote.
Are there any of these that you may not have taken the lowest bid, and if you can just explain why you might not have?
We would not. We take the lowest qualified bid, and that's what we've done.
Discussion from members of the council on B through K. Yeah, go ahead.
On the pipe and casting, can you just explain an application of that for the folks?
Like, we're doing a project over in Jervis Street area where we have to buy HDPE pipe, which is just plastic corrugated pipe, different sizes. It may be the catch basin or manhole frames and covers. Could be erosion controls, wattles, or silt vents, and those are the type of things that come under that. And we have 2 different, a primary and a secondary, because if we need it and the primary company is out of stock, we go right to the secondary company. And they're 2 well-known companies, and we've been dealing with them for 10, 12, 11 years I've been here. So.
Any other questions from members of the council? Is there an appetite to take these as a block?
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion to take resolutions 2025-70.
President, you have to vote on each.
Oh, because they're contract.
Legislative enactment.
Yep, gotcha. Okay. I tried. So we'll go one at a time. 2025-76, awarding of the winter sand services for a 2-year contract to JR Venegro, 2208 Plainfield Pike, Johnson, Rhode Island.
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua,
Second.
second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima. 4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
25-77, awarding of the emergency equipment rental service for a 2-year contract to Rampone Disposal Services, 2153 Plainfield Pike, Johnson, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua,
Second.
second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
2025-78, awarding of the earth materials services for a 2-year contract to JR Venegro, 2208 Plainfield Pike, Johnston, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman
Second.
Pasqua, second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
2025-79, awarding primary pipe castings and erosion control services for a 1-year contract to EJ Prescott Incorporated, 38 Albion Road, Lincoln, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Vice President Verducci. Do I hear any discussion? Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua,
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima. 4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
2025-80, awarding secondary pipe castings and erosion control services for a 1-year contract to Warwick Wind Water Company, 62 Wyoming Avenue, Warwick, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua,
Second.
Second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua. Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima. 4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
325-81, awarding pest control services for a 2-year contract to Falcon Pest Services, LLC, 38 Everglade Avenue, Warwick, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion to approve
Motion approved.
by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Awarding of the, 2025-82, awarding of the heat, ventilation, and air conditioning HVAC services for a 2-year contract to Automatic Temperature Controls Incorporated, 95 Connecticut Street, Cranston, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua.
Second.
Second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
2025-83, awarding electrical services for a 2-year contract to American Electrical Contractors, LLC, 86 Hazard Road, West Greenwich, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Motion to
Second.
approve by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua. Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
2025-84, awarding cold asphalt patch services for a 2-year contract to Johnson Asphalt, LLC, 100 Allendale Avenue, Johnson, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Councilwoman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Lastly, 2025-85, awarding hot asphalt patch services for a 2-year contract to Pasteryak Asphalt, LLC, 75 Airport Road, Coventry, Rhode Island. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilwoman Capaldi,
Second.
second by Vice President Verducci. Any discussion? Joanne?
Councilmember Pasqua.
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
Thank you, Kevin. Resolution 2025-86, awarding a purchase of a vehicle for building officials' office. This is on page 170 in our packets. Manager Perillo.
So the council approved the budget with a line item for building officials' office for $7,800 for a vehicle. They haven't had a new vehicle in probably over 10 years. We did look into a lease option, but the lease was going to be between $39,000 and $45,000 for over 5 years. In talking to the director, he believes this new vehicle that we purchased can last 8 to 10 years. So for financial reasons, we want to purchase a used Ford Explorer from Tasca off the master price agreement in the amount of $30,293.50. It just seems more economical, and for the use that it gets, we didn't want to be locked in with the enterprise rental lease vehicle, sorry.
And additional background, I had talked with someone in the building office about this, and the reason they said that SUV was preferred is because they don't always go out to improved sites. A lot of the time it's construction and there's no road. So that's why for that rationale. What's the pleasure of the council on the resolution?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pasqua,
Second.
second by Councilman Capaldi. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Pasqua. Councilmember Capaldi.
Yes.
Vice President Verducci.
Yes.
President Lima.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
We'll now move to report of the town manager, Manager Perillo.
So I'll be quick. The planning department is putting out a housing survey. I believe I attached the memo to the docket. They wanted to make you aware of it if you get phone calls. We haven't had one for a while, and with all the development going on, we wanted to kind of get input from the residents as to what they would like to see. So the survey is 32 questions, takes about 15 minutes to complete. They're going to be putting it out on a variety of platforms, website, Facebook, et cetera, to get some feedback. There's also a little gift card for people that do respond. as a gift for doing it. So again, it was more just to give the council an FYI if they get calls from their constituents as to why we're doing this. It's not based on any one particular project. It's basically what we feel, what the community feels the needs of the town are when it comes to housing.
Any discussion, questions on that? The memo
Discussion.
was pretty detailed in the packet from Doug.
If I missed it, I apologize. What do we do with that information? Do people get to see it afterwards and say, hey, here's where we landed?
Yeah, we can post the results of that. I believe, are they looking for the fall to be completed? Yep, we can post the results.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Else? All right,
The second item I emailed the leadership on, there's a gentleman, Mr. Casey, who's been calling the town for about a year now regarding a piece of property that we have assignment to via a tax sale. So it abuts his property. He potentially thinks that his septic system is attached to the property. It is severely overgrown. There's a camper on there. There's a lot of needs. I'm just going to show you the pictures that he took. So basically, we're looking to see if the council would be in agreement to move forward with a process for him to purchase that property.
could I have a motion to add the photos to the record, please?
Motion to add.
Motion by Councilman Pasqua, second by Vice President Verducci. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Yes.
Councilmember Capaldi,
Yes.
Vice President Verducci,
Yes.
President Lima,
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, motion passes.
So Monique's been talking to him, like I said, on and off for about a year now. He's supplied us pictures. Right now, the outstanding amount on the property is approximately $18,000. Obviously, we'd like to, he would like to negotiate that price due to the fact that he's got probably thousands of dollars of cleanup in order to make that piece of property accessible. As you can see, the stuff is growing over on top of his roof, and it's pretty compact. So again, I didn't want to just get it in front of the council to see if you'd be amenable to at least having us start the process to move forward with him acquiring this piece of property.
My question is that we hold tax title in this property?
Monique? Okay.
So we acquired it at a tax sale?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have we owned it?
Yeah.
So we'd be looking for a low value sale is what we'd be doing here. Would be the same process that we've done before. So it doesn't need to go to the open market. So yeah, it's fine.
He just wants to get our tax title interest. So we just want to assign the property. We don't want to sell it to him. We don't want to have to go through doing all the ads and stuff that we would have to do. We just want to send the notifications to anybody that might have any interest in the property. So we just want to do it per Rhode Island State Law 44918, where we can assign our tax title interest. And we're asking you to allow us to lower the amount per 44573.
There's a process for that. It needs to be done by resolution. I'll assign it to Assistant Solicitor Igliosi. He'll do it.
So, wanna-
Yeah, no, I just want to get the process started because he's been waiting, like I said, over a year. He's been reaching out to us and he's been taking care of our property pretty much for the last year or so.
Again, I think, we just wanted clarification, I guess, through the solicitor. There's always talk about it's a sale. We don't know that's really a sale. We believe we're assigning our right because we do not own the property. We never foreclosed on the property. Town kept it through tax title at tax sale. We're thinking we're just assigning our right. It would be up to the person that we give the rights to then forward and foreclose on the property and go through.
Yeah.
the time.
We'll get the resolution teed up with Solicitor Igliosi. Unless anyone from the council. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll let him know the process has started. Thanks.
Other reports, Solicitor Angel.
Yeah, so for those folks who are new to the council, the PRP group meets regularly, but certainly twice a year with respect to the investment portfolio on the closed landfill, which essentially funds the closed operations of the landfill. I'm going to come back to you with an update. We had a meeting the other day, and it was the consensus among the stakeholders that we're not very satisfied right now with the group that's managing the money. In the meeting, we took a break in the meeting. So I will get back to you in the next couple of weeks with an update on that. The fund is solvent. We are paying our bills, but we're not satisfied with the management and the return relative to those funds. So we'll be back to you on that.
Discussion for a solicitor? Okay. And Lastly, Mr. Savetti? You're getting your squats in.
So in your packet, you did have we mentioned the last meeting, but I provided a budget versus actual for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2025. Again, as you can imagine, this isn't finalized. We're still receiving a bunch of invoices at this point, and for the most part, we'll keep the books open essentially until mid-August. At that point, we should have all the invoices for June expenses and prior at that time, and then, for our 60-day collections. But at this point, I'm not going to go through the whole document, but if you have questions, I can certainly answer. But at this point, the internal financial statements that you're looking at shows a positive variance or a favorable variance of roughly 2.3 million, showing a profit surplus for the year. I anticipate that to decrease somewhat. As I said, we do have some bills coming in. We have to make some adjustments just for, again, revenue recognition for any tax collections we collect on old tax bills within 60 days. We get to recognize that in the previous year. But on a conservative side, I would think we'll finish hopefully with $1.5 million. So between $1 million and $1.5 million we're surplus for the year. When you look at the breakdown of that, on the revenue side, we're showing a positive variance at this point of approximately 3.7 million. If you exclude the school portion of that, so we had state aid for education came in higher than anticipated, where adjustments made after the budgets were approved, as well as the miscellaneous receipts that the school department budgeted. That really just flows through the town, right? We have the revenue, we have a matching expense, so it's a flow through. If you exclude that, roughly 1.6 million, it shows our revenue had a favorable variance of about 2.1 million. And on the expenditure side, again, looking where we're currently at, I project that we're going to be right in line with the expenditures. We do have some departments that went over budget, such as snow removal, which, is hit and miss every year. But when you exclude the additional money we're sending, just passing through to the school department, exclude that from the expenditure side, as well as with the library received a $130,000 grant for renovations over to the restrooms in the library, which wasn't unbudgeted. So we exclude those couple items. I think we'll be right in line with the budgeted expenditures. But again, this is where we stand at this point. You can see comments on different line items where we're over, where we may be under a little bit. But if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But again, I would expect that, come the first part of September, we'd have, books closed out, and I could give you a more definitive number exactly where we finished up. I could tell you, kind of related to this, but speaking with our auditors, we're expected to have the auditors in here beginning of October to commence the field work. They're actually coming in next week to do a bunch of the prelim work. So, we're hoping for a quick turnaround on the audit, be in compliance with the state law. And so that's why I think we'll have, a solid number to come unaudited, but what I feel would be a solid number come beginning of September.
Okay. Discussion from the council. Solicitor Angel.
Just as an observer, I'd like to say, I've been in almost every meeting since I've been here with the Auditor General's office, which we've been meeting monthly on whether it be audits, deficits, particularly school department deficits. This is the first time that the Auditor General and the Division of Municipal Finance have said, essentially, Coventry has gone from almost worst to first in terms of the level of preparedness for this particular audit cycle. So I just want to point that out. We've made tremendous progress since this council's been seated.
Thank you. Any other discussion from the council? Vice President Verducci?
So, being this is my first go around with this stuff, I know on the school side at least, we have to participate in the deficit reduction. Do we get to share in any of the surplus that's projected for them as well? Does that go towards their deficit reduction?
Again, what we're showing here, I'm saying they had excess revenue come in. We don't know where they finished financially. We're showing just the flow through what came in as revenue, what we have to pass through to them. We don't know how they actually spent it at this point. So the last discussions we had with the school department, they're still projecting that they'll be probably break even or a surplus of maybe up to 200,000, I think was our last discussion. So although they collected additional revenue higher than what was budgeted, they seem to have spent that revenue. So, but until we get, again, they're in the process of closing their books as well. So we haven't seen any of the year-end financials, but like us, the auditors are going to go out there, do some prelim work next week, and then, school should have everything closed out by the beginning of September. At that point, we'd have a solid number for you.
That is interesting. One more thing, I'm not sure how we all feel about this, but hopefully we get our subcommittees up and running. I know we have some high-level information here, but we had some decent-sized misses. I'd like to explore those if possible in a finance committee. A couple of them pop off. There may be some very good, easy reasons, but, some of the numbers are relatively big, and we know there's always going to, the budget's a guide. So, but I would like to start kind of tagging some of these issues for next year's budget already. So thank you very much.
And certainly if there's, as I've said in the past, if there's certain line items you see on this budget actual, just give me the account number and I can send you the details. So you can see within that detail, every vendor we cut an expense to, what the dollar amount was. I just can't, if I provided you with everything, it's going to be volumes of paper. But if you have certain accounts you want to look at, some that you mentioned, I'd mentioned the snow removal being over budget. We know sanitation vehicles. So if you look at some of those line items, you see the repairs and the parts significantly over budget. And hopefully, with the council action to purchase those 3 new sanitation trucks, we're going to see some of that expense decreasing. But we could certainly meet and go through any items you need to.
Anything else from the council? Solicitor Angel.
Procedurally, the council can put this audit-related items on as a matter of new business, refer it to committee.
Yeah.
Suss it out in some
Add a finance committee.
longhand fashion with Mr. Savetti, and then with the chair, bring it back and.
Yeah.
deal with it shorthand.
Any other discussion? Thank you. And we'll now move to public comment for undocketed items. Those items not on our agenda this evening, just come forward to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. I like the shirt, Tom. Nice. I like it. Where do I get one?
You can buy one.
Wow.
The
Yeah, all right,
sign
all right.
came from the Alan Feinstein
Middle
school,
school.
and the actual printing was done by an association member.
Send me a link.
All right.
Thanks.
So my name is Tom Pendergast. I live at 6 White Rock Road, and I'm also the vice president of the Upper Dam Pond Conservation Association, and I bring you a success story and a thank you. But first, a little science lesson, if I might. Everybody knows that stormwater is destroying our lakes. We've talked about it many times before. Untreated water with sediment and chemicals causes weed growth, and this council understands that completely because they passed 2025-08 for weed abatement for this year. At Upper Dam Pond, the restoration continues both short-term and long-term. Short-term with the weed abatement and long-term with some of the things that we're doing for the future of the lake, including the success story. Each year, and I give you these numbers because they're almost unfathomable and something for you to kind of wrap your head around. Each year, stormwater deposits 15,000 pounds of sediment into Upper Dam Pond. A small place, 24 acres. Imagine how much sediment goes into Johnson's Pond, okay? And that's in 8 outfalls, 2 that are owned by the state, and that's verified from Fuss and O'Neill's survey in 2020. Also, 72 pounds of phosphorus go into the lake. And that contributes directly to aquatic invasive species. So filling the pond, making it more shallow and poisoning it, and that occurs each year. So at Upper Dam Pond, there are 10 outfalls in total. One of them is on Jervis Street behind Regent Electric. You may know that, across from La Forge. And that location accounts for 1/3 of the problem. 1/3. So 4,400 pounds of sediment goes into that lake from that one location. Hard to believe, in 1 year. And 21 pounds of phosphorus, as verified from Fuss and O'Neill. But we have a success story. So Friday, the DPW completed the installation of a storm scepter, which removes almost all of the 4,400 pounds of sediment that would go into that lake. With a grant from the state, the association will install filters to actually remove the phosphorus from the water in the stormwater before it gets into the lake. So this is a success story, one that should be taken very seriously by the council and one that should be taken very seriously by the town, because if we're really serious about saving our lakes, these are the kinds of things that we have to do. A storm scepter was called by the EPA ancient technology, but it was part of the grant that we had to do. In the future, we've got other storm systems that we talked about that are more 21st century, that are verified and by the University of New Hampshire. One of them that we plan on putting into Pondview Drive sometime this summer. So the success story there is that we're still working on the restoration. Long-term, removing the sediment and the phosphorus, and the thank you goes out to the DPW and the town for being such a good partner to our association in working together to solve a problem that we're all now recognizing. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom. Public comment on docketed items, those items not on our agenda this evening. Members of the public on Zoom, please raise your hand to be let in. Public comment on undocketed items. Public comment going once, twice, 3 times. Public comment is closed. And at this time, I would ask for a motion to adjourn in memory of Fire Marshal Mark P. Vincent, please. Moment of silence and stand. Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
Make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Pasco, second by